So this is what we're going to talk about today. This is going to save my lawn. I've been using all kind of different things. I've been doing the chelated iron a little bit. I've been doing the corn gluten for weed control. And this is pure worm castings, organic fertilizer. It's 100. Total nitrogen is only 1%. This will feed the microorganisms. But we're going to put it in our lawn, and we're going to bring this lawn back to green really fast, and I think you're going to like the results. This is actually worm poop, which is pretty gross if you think about it, but it's very soluble. So as soon as the water hits it, it gets into the roots very quickly, and this helps. So this is made for lawns. Established lawns distribute 15 to 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet. I'm going to put this full bag in the front and see how this works, and we'll give it a shot. Last time I did worm casting tea, which I put it in a bag. I'll show you real quick. We take a bucket like this. You put a little bit of this. It says 1 part worm castings to 3 parts water. You let it sit. It makes a liquid. It makes liquid, and then you sift it out with these. And I'll put this in the link too. So if you want to do it with a liquid spray, which works fantastic, and I proved it the other day. After I did this, I sprayed double in one spot and then a very slight mist in another, and it turned very green in the one spot. But today, we're going to put this away, and we're going to directly put this on the lawn. We're going to spread this onto the lawn, and I'm hoping that my elite spreader will spread this. Let's hope it works. One of the benefits of this is this will help you balance your pH no matter if you're alkaline or acidic. So it has a natural balancing effect. And also it'll give it aeration. It helps out so many different things. So you might see what I did notice the first time I ever put this on the lawn. The birds, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but it seems like they smell this and they land on your lawn. They can't eat it, it's like a powder, but they must think the worms are coming up or something. But I did notice a little bit more bird activity in the area, so maybe you want to park your car, I don't know, somewhere else. I'm not really sure, but let's see how this works out. All right, let's go on to the lawn. Let's spread this a little bit. I'm gonna spread this out evenly over the whole front lawn. What Lawn Bright gave me, I'm gonna hold off on that. That's nitrogen. They want to bump the lawn right now. Normally, if my lawn wasn't burnt like this, we would be bumping it pretty strong. But we're going to hold off. We're going to try to get it back balanced, and I think this is going to help. This is going to be the way to get this lawn balanced. Give it a nice soft look. I'm going to show you. I'm going to open this up. So, it doesn't smell bad, and I don't see, it's like a powder. So, it doesn't smell bad, and it's like a powder. And it's organic. What more could you ask for? This is going to be great. We're going to put this down on the lawn today, and it's going to rain in a little while, so it's going to get right into the lawn, and you're going to see pretty fast results. Let's try some wiggly worm poop. Let's go. So this spreader sometimes has a problem spreading this, so you can't really. This is very safe, and we're going to put the whole thing in. So I'm hoping to save my lawn. I'm going to leave a little in case I so I'm leaving a little in the bag for the other side just in case I make a mistake. And then we're going to put this on like, let me see. Let's start at like 8 and see if it comes out. Nope, don't come out. I think this is going to be a 12er for sure. Nope. This is going to be one of those products that aren't going to come out very easily on this. We're going to have to open it all the way. Nope. Okay, so this doesn't want to come out. So it's probably a good idea to use a carrier. So a carrier would be good. I had some granule. What I have is Nutrisoft gypsum. And once in a while I put gypsum to break down the soil a little bit. It has calcium in it. So I'm going to try to use this as a carrier for my worm castings because I don't have anything else, so I'll do 50-50 for now. I usually put this much on the lawn anyhow. So let me see what we got. So I'm going to have to put some of this in because it won't work, right? So we'll put 50-50. I'm gonna do is mix the gypsum and the worm castings, okay? And now I was thinking, I have chicken crumble in there too. Chicken food crumble, that would have worked pretty well. But I think since I want to put the gypsum down once a year anyway, I'm gonna do it. So we're pouring this in here because it cakes up real bad actually. And we're gonna mix it in, and it makes it so you can throw it. It won't clog up as bad. So I'm gonna put the rest of the gypsum in there too. Get a bag of this down. Like I said, what I'm trying to do is just make it so it'll go through. I'm actually gonna skip the mowing today. I'm gonna leave the tips a little longer, and I'll mow, and I'll reel mow so it doesn't suck it up. Hopefully we can get this to stop. So now that I made a sort of a mix so it could throw, see how it will pour out? It's a lot better than sticky dirt. There it goes. Always do the shake. So now with the gypsum it comes out 10 times faster than it should even. Be careful. Put this on the lawn like this. Look, the good thing about this wagon, look, you can get it all in one spot. Okay, this wagon works good for this. And we're gonna do the old hopper bounce the whole way through. So actually gypsum's recommended for dog pee spots, a bunch of stuff. Salt damage from the winter. Gypsum's good for all of that. So I'm going to show you in a couple days. We're going to water this in pretty heavy and then show you how green the lawn gets. So I've had a really hard year. We've had really cold. We haven't had very warm season. The grass, you would think that it would grow better, but it didn't take off very good. I think when I did the weed preventative, and it was the natural weed preventative, corn gluten, I think I might have overdosed it a little bit and made it a little bit stressed out. And then on top of that, I tried to green it up a bit. So I made some mistakes this year, but I think I have a recovery plan. So you need something like a pellet to try to make it go through. I also had my Elite spreader, a Scott's, which is not a very good spreader, but I had to put it on 12 and then bounce it quite a bit as I was putting this out. So we doubled up on it by putting in 2 bags on the front lawn, which is 2,000 square feet, which will do a good job of both applications at once. And now I'm going to water it in very heavily, and I'll show you the results. So if this works, this is going to be my go-to. I'm going to do this more than once a year. So this could go hand in hand with any kind of micronutrients you're putting in. This won't burn the lawn at all. So this gets the action going. If you want to get your soil alive and you want to keep it going and like make it start to kick into steam, this is the way to go. And like I said, I have the filters. I showed them to you, and the filters work really well when you put them on top of a 5-gallon pail. It stretches right on top. Then you put your wiggle worm, and then you put the water through it, and then you let it sit for a day. You pull it out, and then it becomes a beautiful tea to spread on your plants, your grass, everything. Anything you want to have stimulate the growth. And it has 1% total nitrogen. Now this won't burn the lawn, they say. They say this is good, 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet. On new lawns and established lawns, they want you to put 15 to 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet as like a top dressing, so they're thinking you're going to spread it out. But the way we showed you with the spreader and a carrier, it does the same thing. Also, don't forget, if it's not going to rain, make sure you water this in pretty good. This says to water it in immediately. So they want this inside the soil, not on top. This is not something you put any kind of, you don't do this when it's damp. You let it go down into the soil and then you water it in. So this is done dry and then water it in pretty heavily. So I'm being told it's going to rain, but where I live, sometimes they say it will rain, it won't rain. So I'm going to put on the water. They're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm going to run the water anyway for 20 minutes just to make sure that the front gets in the soil, and then it will sit for a while before my tremendous rain comes. Try not to do this right before a really, really heavy rainstorm. And that way it lightly gets into the soil and goes into the roots and stays down. It doesn't get pounded all the way down, especially when you do the gypsum, which is supposed to break up and soften up the soil. So this should get in pretty good. Let's see how this works. I think we have it figured out. Next couple days, we're going to see a real big improvement.